Welcome to Unlocking 3D Digital Heritage. My name is Henk Alkemade, and I prepared this presentation together with my Carare colleague, Fernie, for which I would like to thank her very much. I would also like to thank the organizers of this conference for giving us the opportunity to share and discuss some of our experiences in unlocking 3D heritage with you. In this presentation, we will show you some inspiring examples of 3D digital heritage from across Europe, and we will discuss how content was created, used and reused, how to unlock your 3D digital heritage and make it findable, accessible, interoperable and reusable. And we will discuss some lessons learned. First, a little about Carare. We are a non-profit membership association of which EXARC is one of the members. We have been working with heritage organizations to support them and give practical assistance in sharing datasets with Europeana since 2010. We are currently partner in the consortium for the implementation of the Common European Data Space for Cultural Heritage, and we're partner in several projects working with 3D, notably 5D Culture, Tech for Heritage and 4CH. 3D digitization results in valuable data that can be used for different purposes ranging from conservation to tourism. It also offers access to heritage when it's not possible to visit that heritage in person. And it allows to connect to other data and thereby creating richer experiences for your audiences. But creating 3D models of cultural heritage assets is not easy, because of the wide variety of sizes and scales of the assets, but also the wide variety of conditions in which to capture the data. All of these require different approaches, workflows, techniques, and expertise. The purposes for which the models are created, the targeted audience, and how they will use the models also influence what is captured, how, and its quality requirements. Data capture is the first in a series of steps, each requiring different expertise, equipment and software. And if we want to make sure the content is unlocked for future uses, we need to think about using standards, metadata rights and access licenses from the start. Let's look at the case study of the Hunt Museum in Limerick, Ireland. Their reasons to start digitization in 3D were several. They wanted to publish their items online to increase access and accessibility, and they wanted to encourage research and use the 3D models for education. The 3D digitization project itself provided the opportunity to involve volunteers, students, community members, and giving them the chance to learn new skills. The 3D digitization resulted in several outputs, not only the 3D models themselves online and shared with Europeana, but also printed 3D objects for tactile experience and unlocking audio files that tell the story of the object. The Hunt Museum also created interactive gallery displays allowing visitors to explore temporal and geographical data, layered and annotated with objects that can be interacted with in 2D and 3D. Unlocking 3D for reuse is important. It's important for your own future projects, but also to enable other projects and applications, like the example of creative reuse of a 3D model of megalithic art on the right side of the slide. And here's where fair data come in. Starting with findability, we need good quality metadata to find your content and understand the heritage it's representing and how it was digitized. And in order for your content to be findable now and in the future, you might consider using persistent identifiers to avoid broken links in the future. Some examples are shown on the slide. Using rich metadata allows users to find your content by searches on keywords, time, place, etc., etc. And sharing the metadata with other platforms like Europeana increases findability. Once your content is found, users need to be able to access it without asking someone for permission. And remember, fair data does not mean it has to be totally open and free, but it should be easy to find out how to access and use it. In order to remain accessible in the future, it is advised to keep your data in a trusted repository. That may be institutional repositories, that may be trusted digital repositories, for example, DANS in the Netherlands, and international digital repositories, for example, Zenodo. Interoperability allows users to open and reuse the data in the future. It also enables you to connect your 3D models with other data in and outside of your organization. And it enables you to share your metadata with other platforms. Interoperability is severely hampered by using proprietary non-standard file formats, so it's advisable to migrate to preferred file formats, of which some examples are mentioned on the slide. And of course to provide adequate accompanying documentation for other and future users. Not only the content needs to be interoperable, but the metadata likewise should be interoperable, and this can be accomplished by adhering to metadata standards, describing which metadata fields should be filled, and by the use of standard vocabularies and gazetteers to fill the fields in a standardized way. Using linked open data vocabularies and gazetteers is preferred over paper lists, of course. Here you can see an example of Getty's Art and Architecture Thesaurus, which has unique identifiers for concepts which are available in multiple languages and provide a hierarchy of broader and narrower concepts. You can see the example on the right. And here's an example of metadata for 3D using Carare's Share 3D dashboard. On the left you see the 3D model in Sketchfab, and on the right the standard metadata fields grouped in tabs. Taking a closer look, you may notice the use of AAT terms is embedded in the tool, and the resulting metadata file is exported in Europeana's EDM format, so it's easy to process for them. The reusability of your content is for a large part determined by the copyright status of the digital object. And to make this clear, it's advisable to make use of standardized rights statements, for instance those from Creative Commons or rightsstatements.org, that provide that information in an understandable way and are machine readable as well. Remember that if you want to share your content with Europeana, they will also need standardized rights statements of your content, as well as that you agree your metadata will be open and free, CC0. Here you see a very nice example of reuse of 3D models for inclusive education at the Iberian Museum in Jaén in Spain, allowing school children to explore Iberian culture truly hands-on. Virtual reconstructions of historical sites can bring sites and objects to life, tell their stories in historical context. This model provides a scene-based reconstruction of 17th century timber production, from the transport of the trees to the yard, removal of the bark, cutting off the beams, to the transport of the cut beams for use in buildings. You can also add animations like opening and closing this gate and discuss, for instance, how the fort was defended. And by creating interactive objects like the manuscript in this 13th century scriptorium reconstruction, you can tell the story of the monks that worked there as scribes. And you can access audio files of the text itself. Like in the previously discussed example of the Hand Museum, the Ename Museum offers a timeline which can be accessed not only in the museum itself, but also on site in kiosks, as well as online in Europeana. I would like to conclude this presentation with some issues for discussion. What is really important to you when you consider reuse of a 3D model? Is it the quality of the model? Is it historical authenticity? Is it having access to the technical metadata and paradata, or is it some other factor? Due to the time constraint, this was only a brief presentation of some of our experiences, but if you have any questions, remarks, please do contact us. You can find our contact details all on this slide. And with this, I wish to conclude and thank you very much for your attention.